All right. Well, we're live. There's no funny sounds or cussing, or it's all live now. So, all right, everybody. No joking around. It's what is it? December the
27th, isn't it?
The 27th. It's Friday. That's right. Yeah, it's December the 27th, Friday, the year 2019, and I have here with me a friend of mine. His name is Shorty, and he was there when Kennedy was assassinated on November the 22nd, 1963. Mm-hmm. And Shorty, we did an interview about 5 years ago, and it's one of the most popular interviews I got on my channel.
Really?
Yeah, about 15,000 people watched it. But the biggest comment I got is that I kept interrupting you. But I'm not Geraldo Rivera, man. You know?
Okay.
So I'm going to try to let you do some talking, but I am going to ask you some questions. But you have not been hiding this story. You have told this story ever since day one.
And I've been called a liar ever since.
But Shorty, I've known you for a long time, and I don't think you got any reason to lie. You don't strike me as having any reason to lie or a predisposition to be a liar.
What would I accomplish by telling you a lie? The lie was told by the gentleman who couldn't speak.
Yeah.
He was the one that put all that, and they even sent him to colleges to tell everybody what he saw.
Yeah.
Believe me, he didn't see what he said he saw, and he pretty soon was pretty well convinced that he had seen it. He convinced himself.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Yeah.
It kind of faded off.
Yeah. Nobody really talks about the JFK assassination anymore that I know of. I know there are some people that consider themselves experts. I'm not an expert. But since Lou Dobbs and Dan Rather and Geraldo Rivera ain't breaking down our door, right? You have allowed me to put you on camera and to tell your story once again.
Let me say this, okay? With all the stuff that I've seen at the JFK assassination and all the political crap and all the other stuff that went with it, ladies and gentlemen, history repeats itself. You're looking at the same thing that's happening to the president today that could happen to him because of the fact what happened to JFK, his vice president wasn't too happy with him because he wasn't going to allow him to run with him on the next thing. Mr. Hoover ran over to the Congress and told them, don't you do anything to get the people upset because they'll burn the country down if he got assassinated. And that's the true fact. You can find all these things I'm telling you in the paper. Now, do you think that can't happen again? Don't hold your breath. Okay, let's get into this.
All right.
mess.
Well, I want to give a little bit of context. So to tell everybody where you were on November 22nd, 1963, because we get a lot of reports, we get a lot of people saying a lot of stuff, but you were there.
Yeah.
I mean, you were there, and this is a picture, and I'm going to put my finger where you were, right there.
Right there.
Okay, so I'm going to show this, and I'm going to try to make it so that people can see. But here's Elm Street. There's Dealey Plaza. There's the grassy knoll. And Shorty was standing right there. Whoops, right there. He was standing on the other side of the
West
overpass.
side of the overpass, where they were going to take the road to go back to Stemmons Freeway on the ramp.
So I want you to tell us how you got there. But before we get there, this is what's called the McIntyre photo, and I'm going to show the audience. You're claiming
that ain't true.
This is not from the day of the shooting. That this is a lie. This is a fabrication. And one of the things that you told me, Shorty, is you said all the people in this photo got short sleeves.
Yeah, if you look at this was November. It was not what you call cold, but it was chilly. But if you'll see the other papers where the people are running at the hill, most of them got jackets on. This was a sunny day. Yeah, it was kind of sunny. The top was not put on the convertible because it didn't rain like it was supposed to. But it still was a little hazy around.
So yeah, that makes sense to me that all these people with short sleeves, you got all these men with short sleeves. It doesn't make sense when you look at the Zapruder film and match it up with the clothes that they were wearing. So
wait till you see the place up at the top. That's where they got the picture.
Yeah.
There's the place that really tears you up right there. You see this over here? You see how them poles are up there? Ladies and gentlemen, it's not like that right now. It's not like that. It's just like it was when I was down there when he got shot. That is ridiculous. And the three cops there, yeah, they were there, but they weren't like that. They were over here, and then they went up. They wasn't that close, because I was this close to the car, which I'm going to tell you about. But this is a crock of crap.
So it won't be the first time that our government has fabricated and touched up photos and put out photos that aren't true. But you were standing right where this photo is.
Right there, when there was nobody around but me. And there's nothing around there. You can see there is no reason for anybody else to be there. And why I got there was because when I was coming up to the Stemmons Freeway, the underpasses, and I was on the freeway, and I pulled off the bridge there and parked on part of the side of the road. Walked over to look over and see that the procession was coming down Main Street. I could see it from that bridge. So then I walked over to the officer who was on a three-wheeler, and I recognized him. I knew him. And I said, "Sir, is it possible that I could walk across the bridge and stand on the curb over there?" He said, "Yeah, go ahead." Well, in the meantime, there was about 3 people standing on that bridge and we were talking. One of them said, "If something happens to him, we won't even have a post office in Dallas." I knew we were somewhat political here, but I never realized how much until after this happened, and I got to talking to people, and listen, they did not like Democrats. And all the way over there, I walked over and went down to the thing, and I stood there. Now we'll proceed with what happened. I was standing there, and I heard 2 cracks, which came from the window. But then, right after it was crack, crack, it was boom, boom. And that was it. And out of the underpass, just as the last 2 booms, came the 3 motorcycles. They came down and passed me and went on up the freeway. I stood there for about maybe 60 seconds or a little longer. Nothing else came out of that tunnel. So I decided I'd better get myself back to work. So I walked back up and went right back where I came from, where the police officer was, and I asked him, I said, "What happened?" He said, "I don't know." So I said, well, and over his radio came Latin Americans going out West Davis. Now, that didn't prove anything to me. So I looked over on the south side of Stemmons, and there was 4 motorcycle lines, 2-wheelers. They were like they were in a parade. They were going south. God knows what they were up to, because when I got in my car, I left, and I did not run into a damn gum bit of traffic, because I went right down and turned off on Oak Lawn. There wasn't no traffic, but in this thing here, when he's showing you what it was like there, he states that the traffic was blocked up on Stemmons. They had it blocked off so the officer could go on through. That ain't true either, because I went right on and I didn't see an officer one. Now, let's get down to the point where this car come out of the tunnel after the 3 officers went by, and it was a little longer. Here come a black limo. No flags, no red lights, no nothing. Just a beautiful black convertible. And it was a beautiful thing. It came up, they were going real slow, and there was a guy, believe it or not, laying on the left side. His left arm was stretched out, and he had his other arm down the side of his leg. And as they come by, he was telling the driver to get this damn thing moving. And I looked in the car, I seen a bunch of white stuff on there, and I thought, it looked like flowers, maybe. And then I told it to the deposition when I took it at the book depository. Anyway, as we're going along there, and everything's going like that, I seen this rifle, right? He had the barrel of it up his sleeve, and his top part of his coat was dropped down, but the bottom part of the coat, it should have been buckled up where it wouldn't show, he had a stock, a gun, and it was a pretty good looking gun. And I could see where the metal was attached to the butt. And they went on. That was it. There was nothing else. There wasn't nobody come back down that hill. There wasn't nobody come back down through there. I never saw the president, okay? But in their statement, they got out of there and done 100 and something miles an hour getting out of there and going to the hospital. Man, they took a long time before they come out of that tunnel. And then I went up to the book depository, and was up there with a man had worked at the book depository before they named it book depository. It was a vegetable place that distributed fruits and stuff like that. And they had called him up there because they were looking for a safe that he knew where it was and they didn't. And that don't make sense to me either. Because here's the person that rents a building or whatever they did. And they had a safe and he showed it to them. But in the meantime, they wanted to hear my deposition. Well, after giving it to them and everything, the gentleman looked at me and said, that ain't so. So I asked him, I said, if that ain't so, I said, where was you when this happened? He said, I was in school in Illinois. I said, boy, you got a damn good sight. You could see things that I couldn't see, but I saw what I've seen down here, and it was damn sure not a lie. So anyway, I told him, I said, you go ahead and bark up the wrong tree because this boy's going to go find out where that car came from. I'm going to do my thing that because you've called me that, I will be back. And I will get you what you need because I'm going to fix your butt. You ain't going to call me a liar. So anyway, I left the dock. That's it. We're through with that part. Okay. Now we're going back to where I found out where the car come from. All right. It's going to shock you when I tell you because you're going to go, I don't know. It did happen. When they shot up there on that hill and killed the president, all them people in the news car, which this is what it was used for, the newspapers, all them people jumped out of that car. They had a limo. They were in the parade, and they hopped out of it. What the white stuff was that I seen in there instead of flowers, it was that they had a ticker parade in Dallas. You didn't see it. You didn't hear nothing about it. But I got news for you. There's some, my grandmother told me, said there's always some fools that do stuff, and they always leave a trail. Well, in the meantime, I got a hold of a book. And Police Chief Curry of the Dallas Police Department, okay? In that book, he has pictures. And lo and behold, if we don't see confetti coming down, there's what was in the car that I described as flowers. Okay? I got that part. Now, we'll go on a little further. There were several things that didn't make sense to me because when I went up back to the box depository, I seen this picture which we showed you that the guys were standing around there. Well, that really fascinated me because, it was a shock to see that. I didn't never see anybody there when I was there, and it surely wasn't that. But the man told me, now this is the man that told me he knew everything about everything, the man from Illinois. He told me, he said, there was a photographer standing on the side of where I was, up there by the tunnel, but he was standing right next to the tunnel. And lo and behold, he was a professional photographer. And I said, really? I said, well, dadgummit, let me hear this. He says, I hate to tell you, but he had his thumb in the lens. And I said, brother, I tell you come up with some real good stuff. And I said, it's impossible to try to tell a story to you if you want to hear it, because you always got up another story for me that I can't believe, and I don't believe that if there's a professional photographer with his two daughters, they're young, and he's standing up there in the middle of a bunch of weeds, and he sticks his thumb in the lens. I said, I gotta go. So I left. But I came back because he passed away. And he down here in Dallas, he's got a place where he held everything that he was using because he was enticed to try to build up this deal for some reason, maybe publicity or something. But he had a station down here in town that gave him a room to put his stuff in. All this transpired, and nobody down here, this is going to shock you, but nobody down here has ever walked down that street and got on that sidewalk and came down to where I'm telling you about. Because that picture that you're looking at, that has the people standing up there and everything, if you'll notice that picture right there and where it's at, in a few minutes he's going to turn this around and show you, and we're going to show you the same thing I seen when I was there, and it wasn't nothing like that. And they sure didn't put out no money because they never fixed it. There it is right there.
Yeah, this is a zoom in.
That's a zoom in. That's what I'm referring to right there. Now, do you see anything that looks like it has all that wonderful stuff on it? It ain't, and it ain't like, it's just like this now. It's not like that up there that you've seen in that picture. If it is, they sure spent a lot of time getting it back there. But that's what it looked like when I was there, and that's exactly what's there now.
Yeah. So just to make sure I'm clear, Shorty, you're saying that this photo, which is widely known as the McIntyre photo,
Take a look at it.
It's a fake photo. And it looks fake to me because, like we said earlier, all these people, they're wearing short sleeves.
Yeah.
They look like the summertime.
And it's November.
Yeah.
But now, take a look at this, and then take a look at that, and now take a look at the picture we just showed you about. The same damn place. This is it. That's the place. Now, put them together and think what? They done that later?
Yeah.
No.
You were there, so I trust you.
You go down there right now. I mean, right now. You can go right down there and we'll take the picture and it's right like that.
Yeah.
Now, that's hard to believe, ain't it? But that nobody out here, there's people that work downtown that when I would tell them the story, they'd say, oh, well, how do you know? I said, well, get out and walk down there. Or when you go to work, take a look over to the right side and see what it looks like. So then you'll come back and you'll say something else. They didn't like to talk about it. I don't blame them because I tell you what, some instances I got called to keep my mouth shut. But I did it for a while, but I got so fed up with the people telling lies and adding to it and doing all kinds of stuff that was, it's just, I'm going to tell you another story that's just going to rock your road. When I worked downtown, I worked for JCS, Jagger, Charles, and Stovall. Jagger, Charles, and Stovall was a typesetting place that done government work. And we did it for Georgia maps and all that. Well, while I was working there, I was not concerned with who I was working with. I was working to make a living. Anyway, in come the sheriff's department and all their bunch, and they come over there and they took us back in the back because we were handling classified information and stuff. They took it back and fingerprinted us. And guess who was fingerprinted with me? Oswald.
Wow.
I didn't know it at the time because he didn't mean nothing to me before and he didn't mean nothing to me now. But the problem was he did get fingerprinted by the Sheriff's Department of Dallas.
Wow.
Okay? Now, it was not mentioned to anybody on any kind of news thing. It wasn't mentioned about nothing. But back then, remember, there was having a crisis. You know, it was called the missile crisis back in that area. Mm-hmm. Okay, but anyway, now this goes on. And pretty soon, I'm asked again, did you work with Oswald? Well, yes, I did. But I didn't know it until I'd already left there myself. And I got calls from the boys that worked with me and said, we were fingerprinted with Oswald. Well, that's thrilling. I mean, what the heck can you do with that? Take it to the bank? I ain't taking that. So anyway, this stuff kept going on and on. Then they come up with a nurse that come out and talked to me. She was in Parkland Hospital, and I don't know what her name was, but she come out and she said, I hear you've been telling this story. And I said, yeah. And she said, well, I want to tell you some of it. She said, there was a bullet hole in the windshield of that car. Very in the front of the windshield. And she said, they took that car, and that in the, I guess you might say, the Secret Service treated her like a dog. They told her to get the hell out of the way and get out of the car and move. Anyway, I traced that car. It wound up at Ford Motor Company Glassworks. And the supervisor at the Glassworks, he couldn't get into the car where the car was because they wouldn't let him in the building because they was changing out the window. They tore that car all up and put it back together.
Yeah.
Even the inside and everything.
I have seen videos on YouTube that are researching the JFK assassination, and they say there was a bullet hole in the window of...
No, the lady told me, she said, there's a bullet hole in the window. Now, she was a nurse.
Yeah.
And she shook her head and said, have you ever seen anything like that? And I said, ma'am, I ain't seen nothing like this, and I'm not going to be looking for anything more. But as it progressed on and on, the more I got information from people, if I'd sit down and talk to them, they would tell me that the body was taken out of Texas without the proper way. You're supposed to have, Texas is supposed to have the guy do the examination before he left here. But Mr. Johnson, he got him out of here faster than he could go. Mr. Johnson is known in Texas as a real turkey. I mean, we've got stories about him that people, and I don't know if they've ever heard them, but if you dig back, you can find them. He apparently was somewhere in West Texas, and he was running for some kind of office, and I don't know what it was. But a guy come up with suicide with a single shot gun. He shot himself twice in the head. That's
Twice.
That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you feature shooting yourself twice in the head?
That's good. It sounds like maybe Hillary is involved in some of that too.
I don't know what she something else. But anyway, as we go on down the road, things begin to show up that was kind of really funny and not funny. It's just amazing to me how all this stuff got away from the wonderful news people. I mean, you know, most times when you did read the paper and you got different, well, how was that? They had different people tell different stories. In this one, everybody done just like they're doing today. If they say impeach, impeach, 50 people says impeach, impeach on the radio. They copy each other and talk. All that's coming about. Now, folks, you can say what you want to. I'm an American, and I don't care about certain crowd. And it don't seem like we've got people anymore that's really wanting to stand up for our country. But I tell you what, if it gets as bad as I think it's going to get, and I'm not going to be around here, you're going to be sorry for not looking and not asking. And furthermore, when somebody comes up and tells you they're going to give you something for nothing, and you keep hearing that, there's something wrong. You know dang well that they can't give you all that stuff. I mean, where do you think they're going to get it? If they get it, it's going to come out of your pocket, and then you ain't going to like that. And then I don't know how to tell you, but it's a bunch of hooey out there today. And this Kennedy Association, it fixed me up for being political. I don't like none of them. I don't think any of them's telling you the truth. I think the one that you got in office now is better than you've ever had before. But if you look back, you got Bush, Mr. Bill Clinton, then you go on a little bit back further. It's just not kosher what's happening as it comes up. Everybody that came up there. Ronald Reagan set up the gentleman that was in the Navy. What was his name? When he ran for president, he's the one that does all this house building and stuff.
Oh, Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter. Reagan set him up when he was running for president against him with the people that were holding our hostages over there. They said, don't you let them go until I get elected.
Right.
And what happened? He got elected. And they got loose. But they made Jimmy Carter's life rough. He sent over there to explore a person and stuff that were going to be able to land over there and help to get them out. They crashed and burned. Yeah, a lot of that stuff may happen just accidentally, but not with a bunch of trained people like they are. But then goes on and on. It's questionable about all this stuff. I've got no answers for that, but I do have answers for this killing of John F. Kennedy. That was pre-orchestrated. They even let the crook in there that shot him, and they knew dang well he was an absolute criminal down here. But yeah, he got in there with a gun. Another thing I'll tell you before you get through, if down here when Mr. Trump came to visit Dallas, believe it or not, you may not have read it, but there was a little article in there and some little article on the news about a guy that had a vest on, had a gun, had a helmet. Now, you think that scary? That is scary, because I was afraid when he come down here, he'd be gone. And I wasn't lying to you. But that didn't happen, thank God, and I hope nothing ever happens to him. But as far as the Kennedy assassination and stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff out there that's way out in the left field. Some of it's straight. And let me give you a good example. If you're a rifle or if you're a hunter, if you'll take a look at what I'm fixing to tell you, you'll understand what I'm talking about. The car was coming down Elm Street, okay? The shots were fired, two up from the window and the two bangs. They sound like cannons. But then somebody comes up with this brilliant idea. They were shot from up there on the hill. You know, the grassy knoll? Well, if you take a look at that, if that man was shot from that area, it had went through Kennedy's head into Mrs. Kennedy, because that is a shot that's not right. But if you take the tunnel, turn it around, and look it up, you're looking right straight in John F. Kennedy's face, because the car is at a slope. and it took 2 shots, one in the throat and one in the head, and blew his head off the back. Now, you correct me if you have any problem with that, because I'm going to tell you, they said he was shot from the back and his head blew the front. Now, folks, that is a lie also, because when you watch the Gruder film, his stuff went that way, back on the back of the thing. Now, listen to this one. The guy that jumped up on the back of the car and was holding Mrs. Kennedy, supposed to be a great person, turned around and gave the old good signal that all of us know if we worked on construction work. He stuck his stuff up like that. You know what that means in construction work? And it means the same thing in the FBI. Great job. You guys done a beautiful job. Now he's got time to hold her down and do that. There's something fishy, you know, but nobody questioned it because nobody knew. I don't think anybody had any idea of what he did. It was right there. It's just like giving a signal to somebody that's in some kind of organization and they understand it and you don't. I'm sorry to tell you this, but you've been had. Now, if all of this that I've told you, if you got any problems calling me a liar or whatever you want to call me, it tickles me because you're a dumb son of a bitch. And that's the way I look at it. I ain't not going to go out here and tell this story because I want publicity. I don't want nothing to do with none of them Turks. I don't want them around me.
You ain't getting nothing for this.
Why?
I ain't writing any paycheck. You ain't getting no money from me, Shorty.
I didn't even. I come in here and he didn't even have Jack Daniels.
I didn't even offer you a beer.
That's pitiful, but I'm doing this because of the fact that he said that the one that we done before, that he didn't get all the stuff out.
Yeah.
Well, he's got all the stuff out, okay? And here's one I'm going to put on you that I don't know for a fact, but I have been told this. And this is what you say when you're in a court. It's hearsay. But it made a little sense, so I took it into consideration. You know Tippett? He was not on his regular place he was assigned a place that he wasn't there. He had moved over here out of his precinct and was over there. How did he know what Oswald looked like? Why was the reason that he would stop a person walking on the street for no reason at all? Oswald, when he did get up there with him, now this is my story, he got out of the car and was going to shoot him because he was given orders to kill him because he didn't want him, he wasn't supposed to get anywhere. He was supposed to have been killed. Oswald got his gun, the handgun, the same one they got him in the theater with. That was Tippett's revolver. You didn't hear that either, did you? But he didn't have a rifle. He had Tippett's gun. So there you go. There's a person that got killed, and Tippett was sent there to do the job, and he knew right where to look. He knew the Oak Cliff, and he knew where his house was, but he was walking, and he got the whole description of him, and that's it. Now, that's my story. I ain't telling you that to be funny, because I wasn't there, but I'm telling you that I was told that. And another thing I was told, and boy, this is going to rock you, but there was police that come up missing in the police department after this. So I presumed there was some people in the police department that wasn't going along with their story. I don't know what happened to them, but I had that from people that became out of the police department and become chiefs, a chief of police in different communities in Dallas and out in different branches of this, what do you call it, county?
Yeah.
They become sheriff of different counties, but I've told that. Now,
What? Go ahead, Shorty. My wife's yelling at us.
Okay, well, hold on.
Okay. What's that?
Well,
Oh, good. We're coming through. Yeah, we're good.
good.
Okay.
Okay, now, what I'm about to tell you is that all this here fits together in a way. It's like a puzzle. And why people can't get it down is because that old boy Johnson wasn't a fool. That son of a gun was a real politician. He sowed his oats because I tell you what, when he became president, if you will remember, the war that was taking place in Vietnam, he had the people that built this stuff, the military supply, he was spending and making money off of them people by doing that, giving them all the stuff they need and prolonging the war. And then he told the generals, you can't bomb a shit house without my permission. And let me tell you what, son, I wouldn't send my boy over none of them damn countries over there today if I had one, because I'm going to tell you why. There ain't a damn reason you ought to be over there. Them people going to fight each other whether you like it or not. And the more we go over there and get messed up in it, the more it costs us. And we could do twice as much as what we've done to the cities and everything with the money they spent over them wars and had damn good boys back. But I'll give you another story. I'm full of them. The Chinese ammunition was served to the Vietnam boys through a bunch of guys that bought the Chinese ammunition and sent it into the dark. Now, how about that one? I've met some of the boys that got some of the ammunition and some of it didn't work. So you can backtrack and look at that and find out something that's true, and somebody ain't gonna tell you nothing about it being true. So I'm through with politics, and I told him I don't mind getting on here and going one more time on this, but I'll tell you what, it's over, it's done, and there ain't nothing you can do about it, but you can damn sure wise up because it's happening right now. This bunch of political shit that's going on up there is costing you more money. You're going to find out. And you got one guy up there that's taking bribes, and he ain't getting charged for nothing. He's running for president. We ain't going to lose nothing. No, we don't talk about him. So you guys have a happy new year. Because I ain't going to worry about that junk. And is there anything else you'd like to know?
Well, I want to play a video of this if I could. Can you tell us where this occurred at? Who was interviewing you then?
That's you.
Is that me?
That's me.
I know that's you, but who am I the one doing the interview? Because
Yeah.
I thought you had me recorded from a VHS tape or a
Oh,
CD.
okay, no, this was the one to Book Depository.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you actually went to the school book depository and they interviewed you for this story right here.
I interviewed at the Book Depository,
Okay.
and it's on. Okay, now I got to tell you this, and this is going to really thrill you. I got a copy of this video that they give us. They kept one, and they give me one. Then when I went back, the gentleman had died, and there was a young boy who had taken this video, and he was sitting there, and I began giving him a fit. And he began to give me some answers that I don't want to get him fired, okay? I don't want him fired. He's taking that job, and people believe him, so I'm not going to confer with him getting fired. But he told me things that I can't tell you on this thing because it'd get me fired, and I don't want him to be fired. But it is absolutely the damnedest thing I ever seen. And all that stuff you see up there, that gun, if you're anything of a gunman, knows that that piece of crap ain't going to shoot somebody's head off. It'll go make a 22 hole. And
right.
even if it's blunt, it ain't going to make a blow like that. That big gun that came out of that tunnel was a ton and a half. I mean, that was a gun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I want for the people that were watching, I want to just highlight I think is a huge fact that you laid on us earlier in this conversation, and that is you're standing on the corner of Elm Street and Stemmons Freeway on the other side of the overpass.
On the west side.
On the west side, and you got Dealey Plaza and the Grassy Knoll and the school book depository on the other side, and this. What would you call it? Was it a limousine? A convertible limousine?
It was a limousine.
Okay.
For the newspaper people.
Newspaper people.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay.
And then see, I wondered how in the heck. Now this is a question that they'll say. Well, that ain't true. We didn't see that car. Well, you saw the Magruder firm. You think it wasn't spiced up?
Right.
Somewhere down the sun they cut this out.
Yeah.
I admit, I wouldn't believe it that they took that car. While all them people jumped out, while all the commotion was going on, they came down through the tunnel, picked that sucker up, and came by me, going to the road that goes up to the Stemmons, where it makes a turn. After you get past me, it goes into a tunnel, and then it takes a turn to go up on the freeway. That guy got out of that car right there. He got off the side of that car right there at that place, and he walked down toward Industrial. And I know he went out of there because there was nobody down in that area. It was a manufacturing and a commercial place, but there ain't nobody out at that time in the morning. They all working. They ain't having a bunch of parties down there. He got out of that and walked down to the car or somebody, and somebody took him out of there. Now, That I will say personally, probably the truth. I don't know. I wasn't there because I wasn't on the other side. But if I'd have seen it, I'd have seen him where he got out. Nobody had been looking at him. Nobody had expected anything because it's already been shot and over. And then these people, when I went back up on that bridge to walk back over where that officer was, I could see them running up there. They wasn't one of them that wasn't running. They were running over toward the silver.
Okay.
On the railroad track.
Wow.
They had some silver cars up there where the railroad workers work. They were running that away.
Right.
They were. You've seen a fire and somebody around it? That's what that looked
They
like.
was running like they had running away from fire.
They wasn't paying no attention to who done what.
Yeah. But just to make sure that the big piece that I think that is important for everybody to understand is you saw a man laying down on this convertible limousine, if you want to call it a limousine.
They didn't have a top, and I'll put it that way.
Okay, all right. The car didn't have a top. And he had a rifle, and he was pointed in the direction of the president's vehicle.
Well, it was under his sleeve.
Under his sleeve.
Under his sleeve.
Right.
He had it covered.
But that matches perfectly with the bullet going in the front of the head, and it matches also with a bullet hole being in the windshield and his head going back.
Yeah, well.
Every time you jiggle the camera, it moves.
Oh, okay. My wife's telling us not to jiggle the camera.
Okay. Well, what's happening here is, if we're discussing all this again, going through things, it's the whole idea of you've got how many Secret Service people up there? More than 5. And they can't hear shots? I mean, do you realize that boom was like you've been through an underpass and turned the car off and turned it back on? And, the muffler backfired. That's the exact sound you got there, boom. Well, at that time of the day, you can look up in that tunnel. You can't do it now. They put lights in it.
Right.
But you could look
It's
up
dark.
there. It was dark. It was totally dark. You can't see anything.
Right.
But they got that car in there and got him out. And now his suit, I didn't say what he was wearing. I can tell you that it was really something. He had a suit on that was copper colored. And it had black, what do you call it, stitches down through there?
Stripes? Okay.
Whatever. It was a neat looking suit.
Yeah.
And he was this man was not a young man. He was in his 40s.
You believe he was the guy who assassinated Kennedy?
Why would he have the gun up his sleeve?
Right. And
why would he be telling the guy to get the damn car moving in a hurry?
Yeah.
What was the reason for all this? And why was the Secret Service guy was driving it? Then he didn't act like he knew what the hell was going on either. But he was getting him out of there.
Yeah.
Now, there's 3 things there that don't match up right there. Why did he have the gun in there? Because he hit it. And he...
Right.
And he's on his way out of there, and he wanted to get out of there in a hurry, and he wanted to get away from there. And he did.
Yeah.
And nobody questioned him either. He's gone.
Right.
But, yeah, all this makes a good story.
Yeah. Okay.
But anything you can ask me that I can recall, it wasn't a beautiful day. It was a day that was kind of gray, but it was chilly. And these guys on this bridge that you see where I was, they ain't got no coat on. They look like a spring day, and they're just happy as chickens. Now, would you be a happy bunch like that if you knew the president we wouldn't know it, but after all that noise that took place up there, there had to be something that happened. Why would they be so joyful? And if it was the parade coming down with him in it, they still look like they were a lot happier than something else. I don't understand that one, but that's all right. But that like to shock the fire out of me when I looked at that and then knew where I was and went back down there, and it was still that way. Took that guy down there that was giving me the thing and showed him.
Yeah, what'd he say to that?
He told me I was a liar.
Yeah.
The thing to him, that was horsing his job up.
Oh, I see.
You're screwing him around.
They've got a particular narrative they have to tell.
They have a thing set up down there.
Oswald killed him from the school book depository.
Oswald killed him. Nobody's going to transfer anything over to that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Why he left, now why Oswald left and went to work for the book depository, I don't know, because he was making good money.
Yeah.
So I do figure that he was in on it. But he wound up finding out it wasn't funny where he was in it.
Yeah, right. He got blamed for it.
And he didn't have no way of doing another. He didn't. Do you remember he kept saying, I'll tell you another thing. Mrs. Kennedy said something, and I just remembered it. Mrs. Kennedy said, they kill my husband. She said it, they kill my husband. She didn't say somebody killed my husband.
Or he killed my husband.
She said that they killed her husband.
Right.
And old man Johnson, he had the hots for her.
Yeah.
Look at it. I mean, let's face it.
He's no angel, that's for
It's
sure.
a real cruel world.
It is a cruel world. So the other thing, we're about to wrap it up, Shorty. I can't tell you, I'm grateful that you have taken time to tell this story again. But one other thing I want to clarify, just for my own purposes, when we look at the Zapruder film, and to me it looks like the bullet came from the front. And if you look at the Zapruder film and you find an unedited version that's supposedly like raw, it appears to show like the car's going through the tunnel, but the angle of the film changes, like they're sticking something on at the end to kind of fool you. But your position is that after he got shot, that nothing came out of that tunnel. There was a long pause.
There was a long pause before. And matter of fact, if you ask me, did he come out of the tunnel? Hell, I don't know. I don't know
never saw
how
him.
he got out of there.
Okay.
But another thing is, we're talking about that. Okay, now, you take, for instance, he's already shot, and there's a whole bunch of people up there on the know, and ask one of them, even the Secret Service, how many shots were there? Three. Then some people say 4. Somebody said they had a Tommy gun.
Right.
And it's all that kind of stuff.
Right.
There were actually 4 shots of anybody. Now, I have got to find out, and I don't know why, but I think I need to find out how many of these that Secret Service had a physical. Because either a couple of them were deaf, or some of them had a cold or a hangover from their Fort Worth stay.
Yeah.
But there were 4 physical. How do you describe a cannon? The damn thing, boom, boom. I mean, and in a tunnel. And you know it's got to flourish out. And I've had people tell me this guy was standing right beside the tunnel, and then you see the bullet hit the side. How the hell did the bullet? Yeah, that's that one that came from the up there when they shot 2 shots. But I don't think that bullet carried that much weight. I mean, that thing wasn't that kind of caliber. It carried that further.
Yeah.
But so much for that. But it does work into the story.
Yeah.
Everybody will say, "I know the story." Yes, I do. Yeah.
Well, everybody, like you said, in this interview here, which I think you did for the School Book Depository, this is on YouTube, where people can go listen to you tell this story again.
Well, if you go to the Book Depository, they've got a copy of the video that I made and that I took to the guy that told me I was a liar.
Yeah.
And I've got another one up there with a CD that the guy that had done the filming of this took over the gentleman's job that died.
I see.
And I've got one in there that I really put the hurt on him because it's on that thing. And I got to tell you what.
Okay.
There's a police department somewhere in this Texas that's got a copy of my video and got the copy of this disc I'm talking you about. And I give it to him. And I told him, I said, I hope you can use it to make your way up further. And you know what?
Yeah.
I have not heard from him,
Yeah.
and I don't care about hearing from him. But I give him all this, and I don't think he done nothing with it. Because I'm going to tell you what I told him. And we're going to get down to real basic. The police department, Dallas Police Department, had this guy that I referred to that I knew that I told you was on the 3-wheeler. He marked tires with a chalk. And the reason he done that was because if you were overparked, you got a ticket. I used to drive and park in places that said no parking until after 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I'd get a ticket. I'd take it back to my boss and give it to him, and he put it on his desk. The gentleman that wrote me the ticket would show up. He put it in pencil, and they would erase it, and they'd give him a certain product.
Wow.
Now, that was my, now another story about the same place I worked. You know the USDA stamp?
Mm-hmm.
They'd bring the USDA stamp in, the guy would. The gentleman that owned the place and the other guy down there, they'd take him out to coffee. While he was gone, they'd use his stamp.
Wow.
The stamp stuff that they went to the... and,
nobody does that in Dallas. I thought everybody in Dallas was honest.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, see, that they do that, and then next thing you think of, I've got to take this out there and deliver it. Well, at that time, it was McKinney, Marlin, Temple, and there was another one. Marlin, Temple. I can't remember the other one. But anyway, there was several of these places we delivered. You'd have that thing that had never been candled. They had nothing. They were stamped USDA now. Yeah. How about that one?
Wow, incredible.
Oh, hey, man, stick with me. If it can happen, I get the problem. But the problem is, it's like what the hell are you, a book or something? Doesn't make sense. But it's God's will that I get involved in this, because somehow or another He puts me in places I shouldn't be.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think old folks, no offense, but I think old folks are like a pillar of information. I mean, you're like a library of information that, and I believe you're telling the truth. I believe you're telling the truth when you saw the man on the car, and I believe you're telling the truth about the pause and that he didn't come out of the tunnel, like everybody said he did. And
let me say this. God is my witness.
Yeah.
And I believe in the book.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
And if I'm telling you a story just to be telling you a story,
there's no reason for you to tell me a story.
Why would I want it? Because I didn't nothing I'm going to get out of this. I don't like the publicity. I damn sure don't want you to call me. I have nothing to say to you about anything. But this stuff that I've told you is God's truth. And I'll swear to God that when I see Him, He'll tell me, he said, well, they called you a liar, son. And I said, yeah, but I'm up here.
You told the truth while you could.
I'm here, and you can criticize him calling me a liar, but I forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. You didn't know when they killed you. They didn't know what they're doing. Yeah. So I'll go on with this. I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. Okay?
Amen. Amen.
Amen. But
Amen.
For all you non-believers, have a good day.
All right, Shorty. Well, on that note, I appreciate you allowing us to interview you one more time. And if anybody contacts me and they're polite, I might relay.
Who gives a hoot whether they're polite or not?
Even if they're rude, I might relay a message.
Just look at it like this. Right. If you know more about something than I did, fine. Correct me.
There you go.
And then you can come over and tell me, well, that wasn't right.
There you go.
If it wasn't right, I'm sorry, I'll recorrect it.
Yeah.
But I'm not recorrecting something that I know is the truth.
That you saw with your own eyes. Yeah. All right.
Now, this other stuff does. It's just you don't know about the guy in the police department, about people missing in it. I don't know that to be a fact.
Yeah, but you heard it.
Well, I heard it from some people that moved up and should have no reason to be telling me that, but they did.
Yeah. Well, if anybody still believes Oswald killed him from the school book depository, then...
Well, guy's bought his coffin. Give a lot of money for that coffin. I don't know anybody morbid enough to go look at a coffin somebody died in just because they killed a president. And give that kind of money for a coffin?
People making a lot of money out of this. There's no doubt about it.
Well, it's over. November, this November, nobody remembered it.
Yeah.
And if you talk to some young one, he'll say, who was that?
Right. They don't even know. They don't even know anything about it. So, I agree. But it's happening, like you said, the same kind of thing, the cover-up, the conspiracy, the overreach of the FBI, the CIA, whatever the case may be, it's still going on today.
Well, look at it.
Yeah.
They had that. Now they got the FBI agent who was the chief of the agent. He's under...
Yeah. Oh, I can't stand the FBI.
You come right on down the line.
Yeah.
It was now it's not all the FBI.
Wow.
It was the top part of the bureau.
Yeah, I think the whole barrel's been corrupted my own self.
Well, if you get a corruption up here, it's like you work at a company.
It whittles down in the whole barrel, man.
If you're a CEO or whatever and you put out the word, there's this one there. The one that just joined the Democratic Party, it told them, you will not put anything in the paper. I own the paper. You will not talk about me. You can get the other guy. Okay,
mm-hmm.
You get the Republicans, but you can't put nothing in the paper about me. Okay?
Right.
Now, tell me, would you like a president like that?
No.
I'd like one to get up there and say, "I'll tell you the truth, but it's going to hurt you. I'm going to tell you, it's going to hurt me worse."
Let the truth be told, though the heavens may fall, and that's what we're trying to do today. Thank you guys for listening, and Shorty, appreciate you doing it one more time. You've been doing this for a long time. This man has not tried to hide anything. He's been telling this story for 56 years. So. Thank you, Shorty.
Oh, yeah. And God bless America. And I don't know about what to tell you about the rest of us in here, but we ain't going to have it long if we don't wisely younger themselves. I mean, the schools have got to change. They're communists in the colleges. There's communists in the FBI because one of them was a communist.
Yep.
And I guess everybody knows it.
Yep.
They're infiltrated.
I know it, man. I know it. The children of the devil are everywhere. But we have victory.
We have victory.
In the Lord.
That's the only way we
I know it.
And it ain't, what the hell? I'm Big Benny Hinn.
All right. On that note, thank you, Shorty. God bless everybody. All right, I'm trying to record a video for a friend. It's on a VHS, which I've got hooked up to an old television. And it's, very crude, as you can tell. And I don't know how to transfer VHS to video. So I'm just simply going to point the camera at the video camera. I'm going to hit the play button here. Let's see. Hit rewind. And where's play at? Play. Oh, there we go. See if we can get it playing.
Was able to be spotted like that. It's fish in a bowl somewhere, and you can take it for what it's worth. That's pretty fishy.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna let it run.
It sounds like you followed this stuff pretty carefully over the years. Have you read the books, or?
I'll tell you, when I first got interested in it, it's like I told you before, when I began to see the discrepancies. And then I began to talk to my neighbors and to people who, man, you must be off your rocker. Because it don't say that in this book, and it doesn't say that in the Warren Commission, and it doesn't say that. Dallas Morning News, I believe, if I'm correct, put out a magazine in the 70s that showed all the situations that transpired, and in every sentence of the time that the gentleman was shot, the time he got to Parkland Hospital, and I know I can read it here in this building, that they accelerated. Acceleration to me, they really moved, right? Well, I don't want them taking me to the hospital, and that's the truth. Because the acceleration that that car had, I could have beat him by running. He may have picked up speed on down the road, which I didn't follow him as he went on up Stillman's, but they weren't moving at all. And I would, now this is my speculations, and okay, I'm just going to drop this on you. In that tunnel down there that we're talking about going through, I've summed it up this way. Something transpired, and I don't know what it was. Probably never will. There had to be, between the lapse of the time that they had the shooting up there and the time that they got in that tunnel and the time that they got out of there, something happened. And I'm sure nobody up there on the hill knows, because they weren't interested in the tunnel, they were interested in getting away. But something transpired in that tunnel, and I'll never know to this day what happened. But there is something that went in there. It just isn't feasible that that car took that long to get through that tunnel without stopping. If they accelerated, they'd have been through it in no time. You've been to that tunnel. I've walked through it. And I know that somewhere in that tunnel something took place, and I'll never know, and you won't either. But there is your puzzle right there, right in that tunnel. If anyone would have been in that tunnel, if I would have just had, well, I probably shouldn't say this, but if I'd have had the knowledge that I have now back then, I'd have went up into that tunnel. I probably never come back out, but I would have probably went up in there. I would love to know what transpired up there.
I can tell you some things that you may not be aware of. And once we finish here, we'll take you up into the museum, and I want to show you a picture, a photograph. There was someone else out in the area where you were. He was in front of you, between you and the triple underpass, and he was there with his 2 or 3 kids and a movie camera. And his camera catches Kennedy's car as it first emerges from the tunnel and goes right by. And the problem with his film is you don't see much, because he held the camera against his chest so he could see with his eyes clearer rather than look through the viewfinder. So he had the camera aimed too low, and you don't really see much, but you can see the car going by. And the frames are so blurred you can't see much, but everybody is down inside the car, which might have given you the impression that there's no one there. But I don't know, because I don't know how close you were.
Let me back this up.
Okay.
Here's the table, and this is where the car was. And if there was anybody in there, it was a heck of a, I'd say it was a vanishing trick, because I can see the upholstery, I can see the floor, I can see and it amazed me, because after I've heard this, I wondered what happened to him too, because the front of the car and in that seat that I described to you was empty. And the next seat back there that took the
it takes a curve, okay? It actually does. It goes around. I've never seen a car like that, and probably never will again as far as it comes. But you could have put the flowers on the floor. If they were in there, they would have covered them, right? There was nobody covering the floor. The flowers are all over, just looked like they'd been shredded all across the floor. There was not a person in that car. And then I turn around and see people on the picture of the car going down the freeway with Jacqueline Kennedy. I would have loved, believe me, I'll tell you the truth, I would have loved to see Miss Kennedy. I wouldn't have loved to know what transpired to her husband or anything, but I would have loved to see the lady. But there was nobody in that cotton-picking car, and that's what's really, that's why I'm here talking to you today. If you'd seen people in the car, then there would be no questions whatsoever for me to come up here and sit here, and why would I barefaced tell you something that isn't true if you got pictures to prove it? But I don't have any, but if I had, you'd be really upset, because there is a car with nobody but the guy with the gun. What does that spell? The guy driving, turning around, asking the guy to, I don't know what the heck he wanted to tell him, but the guy here on the back of the car was telling the guy in the front, get the damn thing moving. But you gotta remember, I'm looking at an empty car, and that's what puzzles me. And you're saying, boy, here's a guy that saw the car with nobody in it, and everybody else has seen him going down the freeway. I've seen pictures like that, but where in the heck did they come from? Who in the world? What different direction was there to go except the other way up around Dalmo? See, this is the reason why I'm sitting here saying to you, I can tell you all day long what I've seen, but with no documentation or no photos. Well, if I was prepared to give you the photos, then you better be prepared, because I was prepared for assassination, okay? But I wasn't. I was sitting there trying to figure out what was happening. And this is what transpired, and that's why I'm telling you that there's something fishy in the bowl. And there's other people that know there's fish in that bowl that were out there with me. And pray to God someday somebody will come up here and verify what they saw and what I see. And that's the very truth. And I hope the heck they do, because it is time for this thing to come to an end. I mean, it can't go on. I've read about Lincoln and his assassination, and now I understand. I can put two and two together. That, man, you can do this stuff if you got the backing of a bunch of people. You can pull off some real good stuff. And people don't comprehend what's coming off. They see what somebody puts in their mind. And I can tell you it was a shot out there, and it all came from the window. Everybody agrees. They don't remember. They were too dang scared. They were all running around like chickens down there. I can see the pictures now, and I imagine it's just like anything else. You got there with a gun right now and start shooting, everybody's going to start running. And I think that's what happened up here. Everybody was distracted, and no one understands. On the other side, we were not distracted. We were knowing what was going on, and when this transpired, no photographs, no nothing. We're seeing what we've seen, and why they don't come forward, I'll never know. Unless they were the same thing that I got the impression. Nobody really give a darn, because they don't want to get involved. They don't want to be called a nut. They don't want to be done this way and that way. But folks, we got to get off that crack. I mean, that it can go on and on and on. And things just keep transpiring. But yeah, that's not right. Not right at all.
What I've seen in the, and again, there are only two photographs and one color home movie taken from your side of the triple underpass. And what they show is there were three cars that went by initially. And Kennedy's car was very dark blue, had flags on the front. And the Secret Service car, which was a 55 Cadillac, and one of those agents had an AR-15 machine gun.
Where'd he go?
He stayed in the car.
I know, but are you telling me they came down that way?
Yeah, I mean, they were bumper to bumper almost. Oh, hold on, let me finish this is what the pictures show.
Okay.
And Chief Curry was in a white, I think it was a Ford sedan, and he was in front. And right after the shooting, he pulled over to the left. They went by him, and he got in between. And then after that, a long time went by, relatively speaking, before any of the other cars came by.
I don't know what part of town he was in, because maybe that road goes somewhere else, but I don't know it goes. It's just a one-way road. It's still the same way it was when I was there 20 years ago. Now, there's probably some changes down at the other end down there, but there was no car except one. And that car was going just exactly like I described. And I stood there for a long time after that car had passed, anticipating something else coming down through there. Never came down through there. And as God is my witness, there's people on that bridge that can verify what I saw. And even that officer, if he's still alive, bless his heart, he can tell you that ain't true. There wasn't none of that transpired that you just told me. The car's going the way you say they went, because I was there. Now, if I hadn't been, I'd buy your story in a minute, because I figured they ought to do that. They ought to have gotten in there and got him out of there. That didn't happen. And where he was, that's supposed to be in that car, he wasn't. And you can either buy my story, I'm going to die with it, I'm not going to change it, but it's there, and it's the truth, so help me God. That's the truth, what I've seen. And was I there after the president got shot? I don't think so, because I was down there when I heard this 4 things. Now, did something happen in the Twilight Zone that I got moved and switched and everything happened? Well, why would that one lone car come through there then? That don't make sense. None of this junk makes sense. I mean, from the beginning to the end, it don't make sense. And you're going to pursue it, and you're going to have your museum, but I don't understand what's wrong with the people of Dallas. Are the people that showed up there that know what transpired and were able to sit down and talk to you and tell you what they've seen, because they weren't in that melee up here. They could tell you the truth off that bridge. I can't believe that there's that many people that would be so, oh, well, how would you describe them? Just not giving a hoot? Why would that happen?
Our role, of course, is to document. That's what we're doing today. So your story is on tape, and it'll be here for eons to come.
But when will it be verified to be actually what I said as the truth by someone else who, them people that you described to me were 3 kids and a man? Sir, where were they at?
The man was leaning against the support sign, which gives the directions, Stanley's off to the right, and I'm off to the left, or whatever. He was leaning against the post, and you can actually see him in one of the 2 photographs that were taken. The photographer was a freelancer, and he got a picture of that Cadillac going by. I'm sorry, he got a picture of Kennedy's car coming toward him, and then he got a picture of the Cadillac, which was right behind him. And you can see 2 groups of people, maybe 15 guys, standing there along the curb, and then farther down, leaning against the post, is this man with his kids in front. The only reason I would know that is that I know the man, I know the kids, and I've seen the film. And we have the film here at the museum.
See what I'd like to do, if you don't mind. First of all, I'd like to show you where I was. I mean, basically set you and stand you right there. Okay? And I want you to see the visibility that I have looking up 1, 2, 3. You know what that is, correct? Okay. Now, if I'm here and I can see the sidewalk, there's something that don't add up there too. And it makes me want to know what in the heck happened to me. Okay?
We can go out there and look. I think it'd be great.
Well, I would love to take you there. I've been here one time before, and I came in here and I talked to a gentleman that was out front, and he was telling me, and I said, "How old are you, son?" And he told me. I said, "Where was you when the assassination took place?" And he told me. So I told him, I said, "Well, come with me a minute." And I took him down here. And I said, "Right here is where I was." And I said, "The car was right here." And he said, "You know, I did hear something about the Secret Service man talking to the guy in the front." I said, "Yeah, he was." But I said, "You see where I was?"
That happened.
I said, "You see where I was?" He said, yeah, I see where you were. I said, well, you explained to me one thing. You're going along telling me this story, and I'm sitting here telling you that I saw this. You can see that I can't see what's up on the hill, but I can show you this right here. I'd love to take you down there and just let you see what I had observed. And you tell me what you think.
Well, we can do that. Maybe we can bring Stephen and bring the camera too.
I'd love to show
All right,
you
let's do it.
from where I was at.
Are there?
Am I holding you up, Daryl? I mean, I'm getting carried away with this, but you know what? It's time somebody told somebody something that somebody ought to know. And I didn't come down here for that. It just brought back memories when I was downstairs that I saw the car with Kennedy in it. And I told Conan, I said, I'm right here, Conan, right there. Within not even 12 inches away from the car. I could have got killed. I would have thought that guy would have shot me. But he wasn't even concerned about me being there. Probably don't even know I was there. I'm not that conspicuous. I wasn't doing nothing but just standing. But I was close enough to that car to be able to do that. I thought I had a hand grenade, I'd have blown them all up. I mean, it was just that easy to drop in there. But there wasn't nobody there. I still can't get that over. There's nobody in that damn car. And it's frightening to think about it. Where did they go? And then you come up with this gentleman here, and I swear, if there'd been any kids up there, they wouldn't have been quiet. They'd have been moving around. I'd like to talk to that man, too. There's another guy I'd love to find, if you don't mind. That's the death guy. The guy that, a death guy, you know. I'd love to find that turkey. I mean, pardon me, but I'd love to comprehend how he's got an eyesight like an eagle. Can you see anybody, when we go down there, and we can go on the bridge, where he supposedly was, and he's telling you that he could see somebody up there put a tool in a tool, or a gun in the tool, he's lying. I'm gonna tell you, I'll tell him to his face. Ain't nobody that sharp that can see. Can you believe that? He can see 2,000 yards and see a man put a gun in a toolbox? I like to fell over, but the guys, we couldn't talk. But that's not true. I was there.
You're referring to a fellow named Ed Hoffman.
I have no idea. I just seen it one day. One guy told me, he said, come here. And he took me in there and he said, this is a documentary. He said, I want you to see this. And the guy was up there going, and doing this. And I said, and he even said he saw Kennedy his wife on the car. And I said, I'd like to know where the guy was. I really want to know where he was, because this story of mine don't sound right.
When we go out there, I can show you where he was.
Okay.
The distance from, hold on a second, hold on.
Okay.
The distance from where he was to the fence up on the grassy knoll is about 700 feet.
Okay.
It's quite a distance.
Okay. Yeah, I would say it had to be quite a distance for him to see what and to describe it the way he described it and how the guy walked off. No, man. You got glasses on, but I'm going to ask you something. Do you think you could do that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Miracles do happen.
The people who know him, and I've met him, I've spoken with him, the people who know him pretty much grant him that, yeah, he was probably there and he probably did see something. Whether he saw it accurately or not, that's another question.
That's possible.
Who knows?
But let me ask you this. Them 3 police officers that came out from under the car, can you explain that?
Yes. And those 3 guys are in the photograph.
Okay.
There were several riding ahead of the motorcade.
Yeah, I just know these 3. My question for that one was, didn't they know what happened?
No, they did not. Not at that point.
Didn't they
did not
look
know.
back?
No one knew. The official story is that those 3 cops did not know what had happened. Chief Curry was aware that shots had been fired, but he didn't know if anyone had been hit. One of the motorcycle officers riding alongside of Kennedy speeded up to tell Curry that yes, those were shots and the president was hit and we got to go to the hospital. And that's when Curry and those guys took off. But that was past where, if I'm understanding, that's past where you were standing.
Okay.
some of this happened somewhere. So we'll go out and take a look.
Okay, yeah, what I was trying to get at was the fact that these 3 officers came through the tunnel, okay? Came all the way down where I am, never looked in the rearview mirror, never looked back. What the heck are they doing? And then go on down the highway. It seems like somebody would have realized there ain't nobody following us. Or something would have clicked. That's like they could have left the whole procession. And did. And had no idea what was going on in the back of them. That, to me, it kind of went way out. I thought, now, here's the assassination. Here's 3 police officers coming out from under the tunnel, and they're long and gone before the car even comes down through there. Way, a pretty good little while. They never looked back to see when the hell was coming back there. Did they leave? Well, think about it. You would have looked back, wouldn't you? Would you keep going? And when you wherever you were going, you got off and looked back and ain't nobody back there. That's kind of embarrassing. But that really and truly transpired too.
My memory of this is that the motorcycle guys were in the tunnel or had come out of the tunnel, but Kennedy was still back in Dealey Plaza. So they didn't really know what had happened.
No, but they were supposed to lead the procession with it.
They were, well, yes, but they had been riding in front of Chief Curry's car, and Curry's car was in front of Kennedy's car.
Okay,
so these guys are...
See, I have no idea what transpired up here, but I just know when they come out of the tunnel, it was before they come out of the tunnel that the shots were fired. Because that's what made me think that that was what it was. It backfired in there. But after you rewind your mind and you rewind the circumstances in what transpired up the hill, and you see the program, you understand that them 2 bangs and the 2 short cracks are not backfires. And if you really think about it, they weren't backfires because they didn't sound like backfires. But at that particular time, you wasn't worried about backfires. You were worried about looking for someone coming down through there. But it's amazing what transpires. And you sit here and talk, and yes, I've got probably my incorrect part somewhere in there where it's incorrect, but I know certain factors that are not incorrect. I don't know about the time factor being exactly like I said it was, but I can assure you what I've seen is basically the truth, because you can't take that away. I did see that, but for keeping up with the time, I didn't. But I know that there was quite a bit of time that transpired.
Well, we've pretty much finished the interview. We'll try and make some sense of your memories, and we'll go out there and we'll also look at a couple pictures, and
Okay.
This has been a super interview. I'm so glad that you spoke up and you were able to hang around so we could talk.
Well, I'm sorry I did this to you, Conan, and I've been down here. Yeah, well, I've talked to detectives, and I've talked to some of the guys in the shrine that were police officers, and they just, they don't know. They don't know. Nobody wants to really talk about it either, you know the truth about it? And that's the way I feel. Nobody really wants to say anything because I guess, in a way, you turn out to be on the right.
All right. Shorty, thank you very much.
Hey, you're more than welcome, man.
All right.
I just didn't mean to tie you up like that.
No. Enjoy.
I want to know what happened back there.
This is where you were standing.
Where did people?
Photograph or farther back that way. So,
I rest my case.
how tall were you? This tall, didn't you? That under this tall?
No, sir. The police officer was sitting right up there. Okay?
I can look up his name.
All right, you look him up. He's a big fella, about your size and everything. He was sitting right up there. Okay? When I walked up to him and I told him, I said, man, I'm going to get a damn good look at the president. I ain't never seen him. Down there, off the side of that thing, like I say, there's different here than it was then and right down over to here, okay? Here. Let me explain something to you. Car came down, it's right here, okay? That's when I saw the guy on the back talking to the guy on the front, okay? And he said, get the damn thing rolling. But before that, the 3 motorcycle cops came through.
Okay, and they went on. Now, I can't see what's transpiring up there. I don't know. So I stand here for a while waiting on other things and they don't show up. So I go on up.
Where'd you park up there? Was there?
Not over there.
Oh, on that side.
Parked over there.
Who's on that side?
I was coming this way, see? They had stimulants actually so they could come on up and go on up on the freeway.
You just parked on the side of the road?
Yeah, I just got out. Me and about, I don't know how many more was up there. But I just parked up there and got out and walked off and walked over to him and talked to him. I went back down here and then I stood here. I saw this one car go up through here and then I waited. Nothing else happened, so I went back up there and I stood up there with him for a long time asking him what happened. He didn't know. And then I talked to a couple of people mingling around there, and then all of a sudden we saw these motorcycles coming down, and that's when we heard on the radio. And I don't know if you can get that proven to do that, but on their radio they said they had Latin Americans going out West Davis. They had all them police officers on motorcycles going that way. But I didn't see a little thing from out of that tunnel except that damn one car and them 3 motorcycles. And I had all that time to walk all the way up over there and back to the car and you stand there and talk to him. And you figure it out. He tell me there were people down here. I didn't see a soul down here.
You walked all the way across that deal?
I walked all the way down there. I wish, you know, Magruder's film would have been a lot good, but I wish I'd have had a camera back then. Because you know what? I would be a millionaire now. I'd be sitting out on the thing. I'd sell every one of them pictures that I give ever seen.
That's your aunt, huh?
But look at this.
We can go back to the museum. I can take you down to my office and I'll show you that guy's picture.
Okay. I'd love to see it. You see, I could be the biggest liar in the world, but there would be people that saw me. I didn't see nobody down here. They honestly were all on that daggone bridge.
The deaf mute, Ed Hoffman, he was way up over there on the other side of the entrance. So he was looking across stems. He couldn't have seen the trees weren't there. The sign is taller down. It was that. He could have seen something.
Okay, yeah. When I got back up here, we saw people actually running in the back of the building, going in the middle of Shorty Park. Well, we see a bunch of people going that way. They didn't come up over there.
The silver cars were right over there.
Well, they were right in that area. They were
It had to be behind the camera.
And you can see them from up there.
It wasn't anywhere else in there. No. And you can duck in there. Well, if you come in there in the morning and have your first break, you can find out what you can do.
My story gets strange as it goes.
The guys up there,
Generally,
those guys were.
Right after the 2:30 break, 2:30 to 2:45, about 3 of us left.
Yeah, I
All
like
he remembers is that there
Yeah.
were some people in this
Yeah.
general area, but
Right.
didn't have any specific
Also-
symbols of anybody. He
Yeah.
just knew. Here's the
Yeah,
place
everywhere
where
they
the
Yeah.
Had ashtrays on
He
the
was going
table.
to originally get up in Neely Plaza, but there
In
were like
fact, if you look at those deals, I was smoking a cigar and I don't smoke
President
now.
Kennedy could see his kids when they waved to him.
I was smoking a cigar and one of them picked me
I
up.
wanted to see him.
So he stood there because he said there was no one
Yeah,
for
I'd be
him.
more than happy
So
to come
he
in
told
and
the
help
kids,
you.
I know the kids, they were waiting. You
Yeah.
can see in the film, they're waiting, even though they've heard the noises, which they did not
That would be
recognize as
interesting to
shots.
have something
Jack
back
Daniel
there.
thought they might be shots because he'd been in the service. But he didn't know what had happened, just like you.
Apparently
It's
that thing
strange.
showed 2 cones on the wall, you know.
I came by this, and I know you're probably having second thoughts about what I've told you, but there's something
But I
weird
do remember
in
that
Denmark. I mean,
count of
I've heard of
granite
Twilight Zones,
or
but this is
Formica that looked like granite. In fact, I know it was even more than granite.
What the?
Last road trip, and we just went with it, going out
Everything.
Disney World or somewhere.
Down here. Yeah, let me tell you, there's nothing to distract.
This part wasn't here.
No, this one. This is like I say when I told you about the slider and stuff. It was really hard to walk in here. But the thing that I can't comprehend, and I'm by myself, it's daylight today. It's kind of brisk, okay? In there,
There was a few times a week.
and you don't see a soul.
The assassination occurred